Week has been very, very long, man. It's not fun. We are doing overtime every single day. So this week has been just a big blur, nothing else. I'm so glad it's Friday. I am so glad it's Friday.
What's the time right now?
It's 11:46 p.m.
11:46. What's the time? 3:16.
Yeah, so we're roughly around at 15 hour and about 30 minutes of a difference.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, still making it work.
See, the fun thing is that has prepared me for a long distance relationship. So if I'm ever in one, like people complain about 3, 4 hour difference. This is bloody 15, and we have been doing for like 3 months in now. I think I'll be fine
Yeah,
if,
it
if
will
it ever
work.
gets to that. If it ever gets to that,
Yeah.
that's the. Hello and welcome back to NGT, guys. We hope you guys are doing great. For those of you joining us for the first time, do check out our previous episodes where we talk about all sorts of funny, interesting, and weird stuff that has been happening in tech this year. So, lots of interesting stuff happened this week. But the one that I want to start with is something that you have been really interested in, and which was also one of the motivating factors for you to make the move from, sorry, the legendary move that you made from Android to iOS, the FPV drones that came out.
Oh yeah. One of
Yes.
the things
Would you
that
like to shed
motivated
some
me
light
to
on
do
that?
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly, because I remember you were pissed off at the software
Yeah.
integration of FPV Android, sorry, FPV drone and Android.
No, drones in general, probably all DJI products in general,
Right.
have just bad integration in Android, especially when you buy a phone like Samsung Note. You expect everything to work because it has the same price point
Mhm.
as the most high-end iPhone. Then you expect things
Mhm.
to work properly, and that was one of the main things that made me switch to iPhone, because the software rating was so bad and it wasn't working, it wasn't processing properly, and
Right.
yeah, it was
I mean, I
terrible.
don't want to take you in that rant because I know you can go on and on for that, but tell us something about the FPV drone that came out this year. What's so special about it? And I really want to talk about those goggles, but let's start with the drone.
So FPV stands for first person view drone.
Hmm.
It's a cinematic experience. While you wear those goggles, you feel
Hmm.
like you're flying in the real
Right.
world, and the view is from the camera. Everyone has a desire to, fly, in terms of like feel like a bird and fly all over the cities or countries. But
Yes.
this is one of the ways that you can actually achieve that,
Hmm.
you know. And those goggles, the Batman looking goggles.
They look kind of cool,
Yeah.
kind of futuristic. Yes,
Yeah, but like it's subjective. People find it nerdy, people find it cool.
I like it.
uh yeah, I personally like it too. I find that, all these antennas that coming out actually will really work in terms of that latency and this,
Hmm.
because it has 10-kilometer range, and
I did
has
not know that part.
yeah, that
Okay.
is really really cool, because you can travel at the speed of 150 kilometers per hour.
Hmm.
Okay, which is
Sorry,
comparatively,
say that again. So your drone can travel at the speed of 150 kilometers per hour?
yeah. And
Okay.
imagine that, because what is the highest speed of car in on a highway in your country? Not in mph, in kilometers
I
per
mean,
hour.
the allowed is 120 or
100.
130 on some highways. 130 on some highways.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Same here. I think we have 110 max, but
Okay.
yeah, imagine faster than that, because these things are to, even you can cover a racing event such as NASCAR,
Hmm.
or a sporting event such as skiing and all.
Hmm.
So these are a really good design drones. Not only that, it has the ability to work as a beginner drone as well as an advanced drone. An
Okay.
advanced drone is described as something that requires a first person view,
Hmm.
and you actually fly for the sake of it, not for recording
Hmm.
the footage. Okay, so they are like a real life experience of how would you feel if you fly
Interesting.
virtual, yeah, AR like I don't know how to compare it, but an AR like experience.
No, yeah, and that was one of the first things that got me really interested because in general, I'm not I wouldn't say a big fan, but I'm not really into drones and all those kind of technologies. But I looked at those goggles and I saw the introductory video that they came out with,
Yeah,
where you wear them and you completely feel like you are like attached to something which is flying.
exactly. Yeah,
And that the first person experience that you said, I think that is something I would love to give a try to. Especially
exactly.
people
One
who
of
have
the
fear of
thing. Yeah.
heights or anything.
Hmm.
Like it's a good way for them to it might be traumatic for them, but it's a good way to start to get over it.
Exactly, and you have so for example, if it's a multifunction drone, so you have option to
Hmm.
record videos as
Hmm.
because it has three options. One is called the normal drone option, where you can control as previous drones, and for example, I have used the Mavic Mini.
Hmm.
Okay, so I can use the normal mode in the beginning before I learn how to fly, because flying a drone is not that easy. It requires a lot of control because of
Right.
the altitude and the movement of wind and whatnot. Everything
Hmm.
matters when you're flying a
Right.
drone. But the fastest one, the fastest mode is called the manual mode, which will let you go up to 150 kilometers per hour. Not only that, it will allow you to flip the drone and rotate it clockwise, anti-clockwise.
Nice.
So it's just an amazing experience. It's just an experience that you would feel if you were flying a, for example, what's those fighter jets called?
F-16s and all those.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
When they go in training, like especially in movies, we haven't seen one in real life, but when you see in
Hmm.
movies, they flip around and all that.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
you can have that experience while sitting, well, right in your backyard or
Nice.
somewhere in the wild. So in that terms, it's just an amazing drone.
No,
But the
it
price
sounds
point is
super amazing.
obviously really really
How much is
high.
it?
While in Australia, it's already $2,000.
Okay, so that brings me to one question that I have. Is it first of, because again, I have zero reference when it comes to drones. Is it first of its kind of
So
what's the term I'm
FPV
looking for?
drones
For FPV, for
exist.
an FPV
Yeah.
concept.
No, no,
They
FPV
exist?
drones exist already.
Okay.
But it's one of its kind that lasts for 20 minutes. Most FPV drones die within 3 to 5 minutes. That's one of the things that
Okay.
DJI has figured out.
Okay.
Um, so no, it's not one of its kind, but it's one of its kind in its category that has the highest battery life and a digital transmission of image instead of analog transmission. There's a more technical explanation to it, but I wouldn't get into it. The only thing you need to know is that because of the digital transmission, the latency will be smaller,
Hmm.
which means you will have a more clear image of what you are experiencing with the drone and with the goggles. Or
Okay.
one more thing I need to say is that it has a motion controller which is brand new from
Hmm.
DJI, but
Hmm.
it is sold separately. Is it works based on your hand gesture if you would have watched the video on our page,
Hmm.
and it has this emergency brake. But I am not sure how accurate it is, but it's quite interesting to see a new kind of remote controller too.
Okay. So I just have one more question, and then we can, because I want to talk about something in regards to our page.
Yeah,
So you said that the fastest it can go is 150 kilometers. Is that
yeah.
normal for a drone to go, or it's this is something of a big step in terms of drone speeds?
No, no, no. Drones can go faster than that. Some of them have achieved a higher speed than that.
Anyway, so back to our page. Something very interesting also came out this week,
Yeah,
which was I find it more creepy than interesting, but I love the technology behind it. Is the Nostalgia AI,
yeah. The
where
deep nostalgia. Yeah,
people have been turning photos into
videos.
semi videos or GIFs, GIFs or GIFs, whatever you call it. The more creepy part was like people were turning old statues and rocks and stuff, which have a bit of human face to it. They're
Hmm.
turning that into GIFs, which was just creepy. Anyway, what do you think about that?
See,
The deep
when
nostalgia
I
AI.
first yeah the when I first saw this deep nostalgia, the first thing that came in my mind was the Harry Potter images. Have you seen them in Harry Potter world? Oh, you
I
saw
am
that.
okay. Yeah, I know. I've been told that a million times. I horrible when it comes to that. I haven't seen. No, I saw the first Harry Potter,
Yeah,
but
but
after
in the
that,
first one itself, you have this moving images.
yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, yeah, you saw.
I know.
So Harry Potter has this moving images in every image there's a moving image. So in every portrait there's a moving
Hmm.
image, or in every frame there's a moving image. That's the first thing
Right.
that came. Even in newspaper they have moving images. So
Hmm.
that's the one thing that came in my mind that is actually possible, that can be possible in the future.
Hmm.
Okay. The second thing that came in my mind was the whole deep fake videos that have been going around internet, and this was
Right.
actually seemed like one of the part of it.
Hmm. Oh yeah. I
Now,
mean, this
yeah,
whole thing is based on the main technology that DeepFake uses. Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah. The one of the things about deep fake is that, because I tried your and my image on, which is on
Hmm.
page right now, isn't it?
Yes, it's
And
creepy. I remember that one.
yeah, do you find it creepy?
I a bit. I mean, it looks a bit like Apple's live photos, but still, it's there's something weird about it.
Yeah, it's just it is creepy, but the things that I tried with that, and the limitation, one of the limitations to
Hmm.
deep fake is that when you're wearing glasses or anything, it does not
Hmm.
function that well.
Hmm.
But it requires your eye movement and everything. So it was quite interesting to see the limitations of that.
So if anybody wants to do it, what's the website they can go to?
Yeah, so MyHeritage is the website you can actually go to and do all upload your photo and actually turn it into an animated video,
Hmm.
uh, a deep fake video if you really want to
Hmm.
get into the technical terms of it.
Right.
But the thing is that MyHeritage is the website is based on discovering your heritage.
Right.
Okay, this is just an additional
I
component they
mean,
did.
it's a brilliant marketing move for them.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
everybody, I think this came out on Sunday, last Sunday, and everybody visited MyHeritage. At least a good chunk of people did. So everybody was talking about it, and that's exactly what they needed
Yeah.
to get their website going. But to be honest, what I'm more interested in, I mean, I found the outcome a bit creepy, but the technology behind it is something very, very interesting. Deepfake on its own is a very interesting technology.
So,
Mhm.
it has been used previously in political situations as well. And also, but not limited to memes
Exactly.
and everything with
It's
celebrities and adult videos and all that. So, yeah, what do you think about deepfake in general, and how does it work?
let's just start with how does it work. So and that's the part that I find most exciting.
Hmm.
So it works on a technology that's called GAN, or generative adversarial networks.
Mm-hmm.
To put it in simple terms, let's just imagine that you and I both are AIs. Okay,
Hmm.
you're one AI, I'm another AI. So, and this algorithm, this technology is based on two AIs. The first AI's job, or your job, is basically to take two photos and mix them together, and you'll create different versions of it. First, in some, you'll pick my nose and take somebody else's eyes, and you'll put them together, and you'll make a face, and you keep going with different combinations. That's your job. That's your only job, to mix two faces together.
Okay.
My job, the other AI's job, is basically to detect if this looks fake.
Mm-hmm.
Every time the second AI detects something looks fake, it gives its feedback to the first AI. So they
Yeah.
keep repeating that thing thousands of times. That way, it eliminates everything that AI can pick and detect of it being fake.
So in deep nostalgia AI, we are expecting one side to be having a lot of video data.
Hmm.
Okay. And you, when you upload a photo on Deep Nostalgia,
Hmm.
it will actually detect the most similar face you have to the videos they have and base it on that and move your face in the video accordingly.
Yes, roughly like that. So they will pick up the most similar face movement that they have, that matches your face's structure, the size, the width, and everything, and
Hmm.
they'll use that videos thing to add that animation into it.
Yeah.
Within deepfake, videos are not the only thing. Deepfake voice is also another major thing that has been happening in the industry.
Yeah,
So
that's
people
what
are
I
getting,
want to talk about. Is that because deepfake can be used in political situations, right? It
Mhm.
was once used using it was once used in an Obama video, and
Yes.
once used in a Donald Trump video.
Oh,
Yeah,
tons
once
of them
used.
are out there. Tons of them are out there.
Yeah, so obviously it sometimes it becomes very difficult to detect it's a deepfake video. What do you think can deepfake videos? Sorry, what do you think deepfake videos can have impact in terms of politics?
I mean, it can have it. I don't think it can. It has had a lot of negative impact in the past. Whereas you said that the Barack Obama one was obviously that was made on purpose to show how deepfake can be dangerous.
Yeah,
But videos like that in the past of different politicians came out, which caused a lot of negative impact on their campaigns, that whatever was going on. Because the problem is with social media, even though it's deepfake, a, a big chunk of people do not know about that technology.
yeah,
So for
exactly.
them, once they have washed it,
They
that's
believe it.
enough for them. And yeah, by the time you remove it, you can do whatever, but they have their opinions are formed, and this is social media opinions.
Yeah,
So they change instantly.
and when you mentioned deepfake audio,
Hmm.
okay, so how does that work compared to deepfake video? Because I think in terms of AI it works similarly, but is there any
Exactly same, yeah.
difference?
No,
Is there any
so
difference?
the model is exactly same now. So in this case, instead of using pictures, you use two different audios and you start putting them together wherever they match, and you give it to the second AI. It says, okay, this is good, this is not. And in that process of repeating it again and again, it perfects it into a completely new voice. You can
See,
do
now
that.
that's a problem also in terms of like if you are a CEO of a company and you're sending
Mhm.
out a message, it can be anything if it's manipulated into a bloody
Exactly.
deepfake
And
audio. Yeah.
this is something that has bothered not only governments but tech companies for the most part. So all the big tech companies that you can think of, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, they have been working over the years since 2018, 2019. They have been actually collaborating
Mhm.
to create detectors that can do it. But the
So
problem is,
prize
as they
money
create
also, isn't it? I think
exactly
Facebook
so
had prize money of five hundred thousand
so yes,
dollars.
so that was in 2018 December. Facebook and Microsoft came together. They had a competition where the best
Yeah.
detector got X amount of money. But the funny thing is, as detectors are getting better, the technology is also getting better. So it's a race that is going on right now.
You know, one of this kind of races goes on between this Android also.
Hmm.
When you go to the routing community, I know you haven't been that much into routing, but
Hmm.
when you go to a
At
routing
all.
community, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
race against Google developers
Hmm.
strengthening the security, or jailbreak for Apple
Hmm.
against Apple developers, or and against the hackers that actually, or routers or jailbreakers that actually do it.
Hmm.
So yeah, in that terms you're right. Everything that is become evolving as a technology, the counter technology is also evolving at the same speed.
Exactly. Just to give you an example of how simple it has gotten, you remember face swap? In
Yeah, yeah,
2019,
yeah,
everybody was using it, right? You put two faces and you get a third face.
yeah,
So that uses a very, very low level of deepfake technology.
yeah.
Another app that became very famous was the aging app. I forgot it
It's
was
called Face app.
okay. They were okay, yeah, Face Swap and Face app, two different
Yeah,
apps. Yes.
yeah, yeah,
So even the old aging one had the same thing. It was using a low level of deepfake
yeah.
technology to
Deepfake
do that.
knowledge. Yeah, it's quite interesting because one of the things people did not know about that app was it was doing everything in cloud, which means on the internet. So your picture was actually going to the app and then
Exactly.
actually working out
Getting
everything in terms of AI and your face,
exactly.
and then building based on that. So you were giving out pictures of yourself
Oh yeah.
without even
I
knowing
mean,
that.
all the pictures we gave happily to get our old age photos, we added to the accuracy of that AI. We
And
improved it a bit.
now it's actually quite good, I think, so far, because they have so much collection of data of so many people.
Exactly. But see, that's the thing, right? Deepfake has some serious issues. Like, deepfake has caused and is causing some serious issues. But at the same time, the technology has immense potential. So you're a gamer, you're someone who really cares about it. And a few episodes ago, we talked about the meta-human thing that came out, right? The meta-human Unreal Engine thing. So deepfake is one of the main the technology behind deepfake is something that's being used in gamings all the time to create faces that do not really exist in real
Or
life,
Hollywood movies. So, for
or
example, I
Hollywood
think
movies.
Thanos can be considered as deep fake, doesn't it?
To some like a small portion of it in terms of its facial movements, yes,
And
because
to the
that adds to
voice.
it. Voice is another one. So a very famous example that you can see, like FIFA, right? You like to see your famous football players. Uh, they look very similar and like their mannerisms and everything. A
Hmm.
lot of the technology is backed by the technology that is backing deepfake,
Yeah.
GANs.
What about the Nicolas Cage memes?
That was just there. That I would remember that. That was awesome.
It's quite interesting. I mean, like,
Oh,
deepfake itself has a lot of potential, but
oh yeah,
it's quite dangerous
100%.
too. Okay, another interesting thing to talk about this week is the OLED tattoos.
Yes, I wanted to talk to you about that because it involves OLED, and I know your love obsession with OLED. After Samsung, that's another thing you're really passionate about.
Yeah, OLED is one of the best technology. I mean, like LED lights in general, but
Mm-hmm,
OLED has really changed how everything works in terms of TVs or phones and everything in terms of display, especially. But
mm-hmm,
when it comes to LED lights, they are a great indicator of anything. For example, if you have a router,
mm-hmm,
all these lights that light up in your phone, oh sorry, all
mm-hmm,
these lights that light up in your router actually indicate if it's working or not.
mm-hmm,
The traffic lights use LED lights.
mm-hmm.
Okay, and these glowing tattoos are just one of the things that I might buy just to light up myself.
Well, the term they're using, they're called smart tattoos. They'll be using OLED technology, but yes, they'll be smart tattoos, which could help you. The biggest thing, as you said, would be fashion. Fashion could be one
Yeah.
of the biggest things because the best thing is you do not
Okay,
need a
one
lot
of
of
the thing
technology to
is
apply
that
it.
it's a temporary tattoo and not a permanent one.
That's exactly what I was getting at.
Yeah.
It's very simple to apply. You can literally apply it with some wet towel, and it will be on your hand, and you can take it off without any problem.
Isn't that great? Would you get one?
It, I would love to get one, and the best thing is because it's temporary, I can get another one every week.
I know. I mean, you can get it in any shape, any form.
Exactly.
Cover yourself in lights.
I mean,
Wear a light mask. Go
no,
crazy.
I'm not going that far, but yes, I would love to try these OLED tattoos, and they have some. They have immense potential, not only in terms of fashion, but also in terms of healthcare.
Yeah.
So a lot of athletes, so basically, they can use these tattoos to connect it to sweat detectors. So when
Hmm.
an athlete is sweating, by it can these tattoos can detect how dehydrated that athlete is. It can also be
I've
used.
also seen it might be able to detect cancer cells. Is it?
Yeah, so that was the next thing. So apart from using it for like day-to-day exercise regarding things, you can also use it. There are some light therapies that are used to treat cancer,
Mm-hmm.
and you can basically put these OLED tattoos underneath your skin,
Mm-hmm.
which would help you in those therapies.
When you say underneath your skin, what do you mean? It needs an operation, or can it just be applied on the
So it
hand
needs
like the usual one?
no, so it would need a very small surgery where you would insert it inside your skin, the
Mm-hmm.
area where you have cancer growth. You'll put it right underneath that, and the different types of light would tell you how effective the technology, how effective the treatment is, and how good or bad, what do you call that, the cancer cell is at that point. Another interesting application for this is in grocery markets. So you can apply these tattoos on fruits, and it would tell you when a fruit is about to go bad.
Yes, so if they don't want to, you can apply it yourself at home and see when it is
I
going bad.
I think if you have bought the fruit and you brought it home, by that time it's too late.
I mean, like,
But
will
you
we get it at a consumer level? That's the question, isn't it? Like, to detect that thing, okay, this food is rotten, although it's in your bloody
so
fridge.
based on the research, producing OLED stripes, which would be used for this, are very cheap. Even at this point, where they're just in where they're still inventing the technology and perfecting it. It's still very cheap, so it would not be that difficult. The only challenges that we would have in this is when you integrate it with other stuff, like adding power sources to it, adding sweat sensors and all these kind of sensors. That's when it will be challenging, but producing that on its own is super cheap.
See, for example, some of the things are already done by Apple Watches and all that, right? I mean, like
Hmm.
smartwatches in general.
Hmm.
And this is just a miniature form of it
Yeah,
without any
it's
of a big screens and stuff. It's just
exactly.
like simple
It's
indicators to show all that.
another form of wearable technology, but taken to a completely different level and make it fun at the same time. I mean, the fact that I can change my tattoo every week, why not?
Exactly.
Not that I have one right now, but it's a great idea.
Yeah, but the another one of the thing is that it's temporary. That's what is great about it. I mean, you cannot regret it if you have one.
Exactly, like no laser therapy or anything when you want to take it out.
Yeah, so yeah, I think
It
I
would
will
be
go
super
for
interesting.
it. I think I'll go for it when it comes. I think it would be very cheap. I mean, the tattoo part would be very cheap. The health part and all that would be
Exactly.
obviously
If you
the
just want to do it for
expensive
fashion,
ones.
yeah, I don't think it would be very expensive.
Okay, one last thing to talk about today and
Yes.
this week that happened is that the
For me,
space hotel is coming to reality.
this is the biggest thing
Now,
that happened this week.
space is your biggest obsession, as
One
far
of
as
the
I know.
biggest, yes. Yes.
And you watched Interstellar 1,000 times, so that is an indicator to
No,
it.
not thousand, but I'm close somewhere.
So yeah, I'm just counting as 1,000 because yeah, I won't count every time you
Eventually I'll
watch.
get there. Let's
Yeah,
just call it that. Eventually I'll get there.
yeah. So yeah, tell us more about Space Hotel. What is it? Is it like a luxury hotel or just an?
Sort of. So
Mhm.
what they're aiming for is basically to have it's an hotel. It's a hotel for everybody. It's supposed to be a vacation kind of experience for anybody who visits space. So you would have complete staff there. You would have people going there. They will have their separate rooms. You have special cooks who will be cooking special kind of space cuisine.
What
And
the
they're
hell is space cuisine?
well, they did not talk a lot about it yet, but they said that they're right now they're working on kinds of stove which would not use electric heating or regular heating at all. It will be something completely different to cook the food.
Hmm.
And right now they're working with some of the top chefs to create their menus for the
Oh my
space cuisine.
god!
They would also have gymnasium, so it's a complete
Get off your high
vacation.
horses.
I mean, it's what do you call that? It's targeted towards people who can afford that kind of thing and who like these kind of getaway experiences. In this case, it's literally out of the world. So it'll be a 3-day
We
experience, and
haven't even done going out of space perfect. Then why is there a space hotel?
well, that's the ambitious thing, right? It's supposed to be coming out in 2027. Okay, it'll be a 3-day trip, and the price is only $5 million. You pay $5 million. They'll take you for 3 days.
When you say only,
Okay. The reason why I say only is because SpaceX is charging 55 million for what do you call a private flight. So in comparison to that, you pay 5 million, you go to space, you have complete experience for
when
three
you
days
okay,
around the Earth.
private flight, okay. When you say private flight, it means like a private plane kind of thing, is it?
But no, so basically, SpaceX is working on something right now where it would take people into space right now, okay, for a very limited number of people, and they're charging $55 million per
What
seat.
I'm comparing to is a normal flight, okay? So, for
Mhm.
example, if you tell me a private flight, I'm considering it as first class. And if you say in 5 million, I have to go in economic class to space.
No, so
That's annoying.
these are two completely different packages. Let's just call it that, because the company that is building this hotel, they haven't really announced their plans completely. All they have said is that this thing is coming out in 2027. That's the
Mhm.
first thing, and they've briefly described what kind of experience you would have. So it's targeted towards giving you a complete getaway vacation kind of feel, because not only would you have specialized cooks and space cuisine and everything, you would also have a very special
Aliens.
experience, which is, I mean, we hope not, Special
When you have
experiences.
space cuisine, why can't you have aliens? People dressed up as aliens just for that experience sake.
Yeah, see, it's important you say that dressed up as alien. That's different. But one of the biggest attraction for this one is it would allow people to do spacewalks. So there will be a specific section within that space hotel where you would have people guiding you and helping you to do spacewalks. So you would literally be outside in space and you'll be able to see Earth in the
As a,
best way
as a as a
possible
globe, yeah.
as a globe. And
And
you'll like,
people who say that it's flat would be disappointed, isn't it?
I mean, they will not leave the Earth, right? So that's, but yes, it's something super super exciting. I'm really really looking forward to it. They haven't really started building it yet. It's called the Voyager Station. That's what the hotel would be called.
Mhm.
But right now they're working towards getting the initial stuff together, and they'll be starting the construction in 2025.
That's interesting, man. That's quite interesting. I mean, like,
So
obviously, the problem is that $5 million, man.
hey, you're getting a $50 million discount from SpaceX. Stop whining about it.
I mean, yeah, but like an average person earning does not even reach $2 million
But see,
in his lifetime.
like on a serious note, for me, what's really exciting about it about this is that it has started a completely new industry now, right? I think SpaceX is the one that deserves the credit for this. Elon Musk is the one that deserves credit for this because they started this whole experience of private,
Trend also,
uh,
yeah.
exactly, the
Mhm.
private space flights and all that stuff. So in the future, maybe we cannot afford the 5 million one, but in the future, say instead of 2027, we go in 2030. It'll come down to
Yeah,
like five
yeah. I
hundred
think eventually,
thousand
obviously,
dollars.
you would expect it to be when there are motels will go.
Okay, so we'll go and we'll make a podcast in in a space motel. Let's do that. Okay.
That's what affordability allows us, man. We cannot.
I love that idea. I don't think we
Yeah,
can top that. So let's just stop here.
yeah.
We are promising you guys if there's ever a space motel, we'll see you guys there and we'll do a podcast.
Live. We'll
Yeah.
do a live podcast.
Let's work out the logistics later because I
Yeah.
think motel is a big step. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this week, guys. We really hope you guys liked this episode. If you did, do let us know in the comments section. And if you're listening to us on the podcast, let us know what you think about it on our Instagram page at ngt.007. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. We'll see you next week. Until then, take care, stay safe. Bye.
Goodbye.